Trapmore gang, before we get into this video, if you want to see a new main channel video from me, head on over to my Patreon, patreon.com/traplawross, where you can see a fully uncut version of the feature-length video that I just made about the entire Toronto drill scene. I've been having some issues behind the scenes getting this video up on the main channel, and as of recording this, it is currently not available on my main channel at all. It is only available uncut on Patreon. So if you want to check that out before it's up on my main channel, or if it's up on my main channel and you want to check it out with all of the violence, the music, all of the stuff that I just couldn't put in on the YouTube version, patreon.com/traplawross, go and check that out. Anyway, let's get into this, because this story that we're talking about today relates very closely to the Toronto drill scene, and chances are, had I not just spent like 3 weeks doing nothing but consuming Toronto street drill info and music, I probably wouldn't have even known what freaking went down in this situation. So I'm gonna break this story down to you today in excruciating detail, all thanks to the recent video I did on Toronto. So let's get into it. In case you didn't know, there is a UK drill rapper who goes by the name of Lowski. So he's a UK rapper hailing from South London, more specifically the Kennington area, and he is known to rep a crew called the Harlem Spartans, a legendary crew from South London, a legendary drill crew. They've had some massive hits like Call Me a Spartan, or their biggest, most iconic song, Kennington, where it started, which even ended up getting them a shout out from Drake. It's crazy, okay? So Lowski is serious in the game, all right? Lowski is one of the most respected rappers in the UK. He has got fire songs. This PUG track that he's got has been going absolutely crazy recently. Got another one out called Rolling Stone. Lowski is hard. He's definitely one of my favorite rappers in the UK drill scene. Now, he's dropped a lot of lyrics referencing overseas rappers that have never really caused him any problems before. For example, he had this plugged in session with Fumes the Engineer, who I actually met and interviewed, if you didn't know. So Lowski did this plugged in session with Fumes, and in it he's got a lyric where he says that he shoots shit like Queso, an obvious reference to the Jacksonville rapper Queso, currently incarcerated and accused of the murder of Bibby. He also recently dropped a lyric where he said that the ops can catch corn like Wooski, which means that ops can get shot, in reference to the gangster disciple rapper from Chicago, Wooski, who notoriously has had an endless beef with the BDs, people like King Von, etc. Now, this is all well and good, and if anything, Lowski kind of gets respect for sort of shouting out or paying homage to other overseas drill rappers, like the other versions of Lowski overseas, basically. And he clearly, like, knows his history. Hell, he's probably watched a few Trap Law Ross videos. I would expect he must have. I don't know where he learned about Queso, but hell, I'd like to think maybe he's checked out one of my videos. I actually did do a video about him and the Harlem Spartans and their relationship with Drake on my main channel quite a while ago, and I know that Blanco from the Harlem Spartans saw that, so that is kind of lit. But anywho, recently, Lowski's habit of shouting out drillers from other countries has indeed backfired. Lowski posted up an Instagram picture along with the caption, "Send them to who?" with the Houdini emoji. And if you don't know, this was actually a reference to the murdered Canadian drill rapper Houdini, generally associated with the Up Top Records movement, along with the likes of Robin Banks and Presser. Houdini was a loved figure in Toronto drill, talented rapper who had a lot of potential, but was unfortunately murdered and taken away from us far before his time. Like here you got Houdini and Presser's track Up and Down, absolutely fire, by the way. So Houdini was beloved, and here's the thing that not a lot of people really picked up on when it came to Lowski putting this caption on his post. Because from the outside, him posting up "send them to who" is kind of just like, why would you disrespect Houdini? Like, there's no need. The implication is like, send them to who? So basically he's saying, I'm gonna kill an op and send them to Houdini, who is already dead. And it's like, why would he do this? Why would he just come out and diss Houdini? Like, he doesn't have beef with Toronto. He's not even from there. He's all the way over here in the UK. Here's the detail a lot of people miss. This is actually a song lyric from a rapper called Doovie. So Presser and Houdini basically represent this area called Jane and Finch. So Jane and Finch is one of the most gutter areas of Toronto. It's where a lot of the Toronto drillers come from. And you've got the likes of Houdini and Presser that represent the north side of Jane and Finch. And then you've got rappers like Doovie and NHS JJ who represent the south side of Jane and Finch. And these two areas, of course, have a lot of beef. So a little while before Lowski made this post, Doovie from the south side actually released this song called For the Bros. It's a fire song, by the way, but it contains a lyric where Doovie says, "Send them to who?" So I assume that Lowski heard this song, he was vibing with it. Maybe he didn't even realize exactly what he was saying at the time. He took the lyric from this song that is basically dissing the ops on the north side of Toronto and Jane and Finch and threw it on his story. But now, suddenly, he's involved. Because in response to that post saying "send them to who," a charming fella chimed into the chat under the name BFR Bundog, atting Lowski saying "send them to Lats." Now, this is a specific reference to one of Lowski's friends, Lats, aka SA, who was tragically murdered as part of the ongoing war in the streets of South London back in 2018. So Bundog chimed in basically dissing Lowski's dead homie back, saying "send them to Lats," and a lot of people were confused by this. Thing is, a lot of people also didn't know who the fuck Boondog was, okay? Well, let me tell you people, Boondog is not to be played with. He is actually the older brother of one of the biggest rappers coming out of the Toronto drill scene, Pressa. So Pressa came out dissing Lowski, posting a picture from his trial when he had a gun charge like a few years ago that he beat only recently by basically telling the court that an older gang member who he didn't name forced him to carry a gun against his will and said that if he didn't take the gun, there'd be some sort of violent reprisal, and Lowski was just doing as he was told. Now, I know what you're thinking, that's a pretty far-fetched way to try and beat a charge, but it worked. Lowski beat his charge. He is out here making music only recently, and people are like, how did this guy even get off of this charge? Because it looked like the evidence was pretty strong against him, but he beat it using this strategy. He didn't snitch on anyone specifically, he just said a big scary man came and made me take this gun, and it worked. Thing is, on the other side of the ocean, the drillers don't necessarily know this, so Pressa posted up Lowski's article along with the headline that said, rapper Lowski tells the court that a drug dealer forced him to carry the gun, along with a caption that says, I know my UK killies ain't co-signing this dickhead, now I understand why them man are claiming him now. Then going further to say that you ain't got no more fans in Canada that's dead and we don't rock with informers, basically suggesting that Lowski is a snitch for telling the court that somebody made him take a gun. I guess Pressa doesn't really understand like what was really going on in Lowski's case. I mean, that's a whole other story. Lowski's case got like thrown out of court multiple times. The case collapsed at one point. It was a madness and it was absolutely nuts that he beat the case, frankly. So Pressa doesn't know that, but now they're beefing. He's saying fuck Lowski. Doovie from the ops are claiming him. He's got no more Canadian fans and you're an informer, which is just crazy. So in response to this, I guess once he'd kind of found out what the hell was going on and that he'd offended a few people, Lowski came out on his story saying, hey, my bad if I upset any of my fans in Canada. I love all of you, but fuck anyone else lying on ski. I guess what he's saying is that Pressa is essentially lying about him being an informer. Let's just be real, Pressa probably doesn't really understand like the full facts of Lowski's case. Also, he's mad that Lowski's dissed his dead homie Houdini, so he's just throwing anything he can at him. Here's the thing, right? Pressa probably didn't realize the realities of Lowski's case, but Lowski probably also didn't really realize the realities of dissing these Canadian guys and going up against what's basically like some of the most feared drillers that Canada has to offer. I mean, Pressa was implicated in this insane case where 2 Toronto teens were kidnapped, forced to play Russian roulette, and sexually assaulted. There are a lot of fucked up, seriously crazy things about that case that I can't even talk about here. But Pressa's name has been associated with some of the most crazy stuff I've ever heard of. Now, thankfully, Pressa did beat that case, just like Lowski beat his case, funnily enough. They got something in common. But that's not all. It's not just Pressa. His older brother, Boondog, who was out there on Instagram dissing Lowski, saying send him to Lats, he quite literally only just recently at the end of 2020 got out of jail after being handed a 10-year sentence for allegedly being the leader of a street gang in Toronto called the Young Buck Killers. He got 10 years for this. He just got out. He was 18 at the time. And for the record, Boondog, since he got out of jail, he has started rapping and he's been dropping that fire. He's got a few tracks, Bricks for the Low, True Story, like they're hard. They're actually hard tracks. Basically, Lowski didn't realize that he was dissing some of the scariest folks, some of the most demonic folks that Canada has to offer. And realistically, I sure hope that no more intercoastal, intercontinental beef comes out of this. But here's the thing, right? Don't get caught slipping like Lowski, okay? If you want to learn more about the Toronto drill scene, head on over to my Patreon, patreon.com/TraplawRoss, and watch the uncut version of my Murder in the Six documentary, okay? It's an 80-minute documentary covering the entire rise of the entire Toronto drill scene, the whole scene, every rapper, every street situation. I put so much effort into creating this video, and I'm actually bummed that I can't put it up on my main channel yet. Hopefully in a few days I will have it up, but the uncut version, all the grisly details, all of the music that I can't play on YouTube is available on my Patreon now, guys. Going forward, I'm always going to be putting uncut versions of my videos that have those kinds of details in them on Patreon. I might even go back and make an uncut, not safe for work version of my Jacksonville video just for the patrons to enjoy. It's $2 a month. That's all it's going to cost you to get exclusive access to my uncut videos early. So make sure that you go and show some love over on Patreon if you haven't already, gang. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this story. Get down below in the comments. Let me know what you want to see next on the second channel. I want to do more of these kind of like smaller stories, not really news, but like little drill goings on, like little, no, you know what I mean? Just a little mini story, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate all of the love on the last couple of videos here on the second channel too. You guys had it booming for a minute. I wish I wasn't so busy so I could make more of these videos, but there's more coming soon. It's lit. Catch you on Patreon, catch you on the main channel. Murder in the Six video about the Toronto drill scene is fire. Make sure you check it out. I appreciate everybody that has. Till the next one, appreciate you. Peace.